You said, are you white or aren't you white? Or you called her white. She's not white. Okay, here you go. Tell me if this person is white to you. I'm curious if you would say this person is white.
Skin check me.
Is this a white person to you?
I mean, you guys look like you could be cousins. I don't know.
Okay, Annalicia, I hate to inform you of this, but you are also a white person then. Do you understand that?
Okay.
You talk to Destiny.
What's unique about it?
Harry's fun.
I think that
White boy, you tell us.
Right?
I don't have to talk.
What's unique about it?
it's fucking Lycan just got kicked and lost his perms. Good luck. What the hold on,
Anything
chill.
outside of your national.
No,
and
oh my
women's
God,
gender
stop, chill, hold on,
not
Anna,
discussed.
chill. What I'm saying is that
I guess I just don't understand like what prescription from like scripture or like gospel or something within these churches or whatever that's going to be like so important that would help overcome these like generational wealth gaps and like poverty that like why hasn't it happened already?
It's adhering to lifestyle, okay? It's adhering to what you value, and I'm just saying is if you want to escape abject poverty as a like for your children, you're gonna need to appreciate the family values a lot more, and that's adhering to what Alicia was saying of like Black men need to stop leaving their women. We need to have we need to stop having single mothers. Because this is just perpetuating poverty.
Wait a minute. That's a myth. All of that's a myth.
you brought up
What do
single
you
mothers.
mean?
Now
What are you
you're
talking about?
now
That's
you're
a
completely
just a stereotype. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
mothers have
She's calling me out.
no
Calling
responsibility.
me out.
It's all on the
This is not
fathers.
This is not the dunk that she thinks it is. It's because she thinks that because
No.
Black Americans
No, it's
aren't
not
married.
what
Hey, can I
I'm
finish?
saying.
Hey, can I finish? Because you asked me.
Data has already proved.
Make it
You
funny.
said-
Make it funny.
You said that because Black Americans aren't married, that means that they're necessarily absent from their children's lives, and I was telling you that that's not the case.
That's not what I said.
Okay, what did you say then?
I said that absenteeism is at the top of the list in terms of what's negatively contributing to the community, the culture, family values, and the nuclear family. That's what I said.
Ooh.
But you were overstating the extent to which absenteeism is even a disproportionate
I wasn't
issue within the
overstating
Black
it.
community.
If anything, you were understating it because Lav came up
No,
and
I
she
just
really had the
plainly
receipts and
stated
she
it
said,
as it
"Hey,
is.
once a month, that's a really low bar." So if we know
I'm
that the
not
bar
talking-
is
I
low,
don't know what Lav said or
I don't
whatever,
even understand why you're arguing with her and you're saying, "Hey, I don't understand what the issue is," but then on the other hand, you're saying I'm overstating absenteeism.
Oof.
Like what?
You
What?
were, because in the previous discussion that we had, you said it's the number one problem facing Black Americans today is like an absence of Black fathers in their lives, and like
the whole time.
yeah, I know, I disagree with it because it's not even true.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Why is it not true? Why is it not true? Straight as what's your name? Straight.
My ad is straighterade.
Yeah.
Right.
Why
So
is
it's
it
a
not-
myth.
It's
So
not true
prove
because
prove
you
that
think-
it's a myth, please.
Prove that the onus should be on you to prove that it's the problem, first of all, since you're the one making the affirmative claim. But if I'm going to
No. You said that it was a stereotype, right? You said that
Yeah, it is a
absenteeism
stereotype.
in the
Yep.
Black community, father engagement, father involvement, paternal involvement. You said all of these things are a myth. All of these, it's just a trope, a stereotype. You have to prove that.
Well,
Yeah.
first of all, again, you were the one who made the claim that it's the number one problem facing Black Americans. So one, you should have been the one to prove that, and now you're putting the onus on me to disprove something that you haven't even proved in the first place.
We did prove it. 70%. And then when you said, "Oh, but they're the most engaged and they're the most active fathers," and then
Yeah,
when
I
we
told you that
streamlined that and when we
70%
really
are
looked into what
unmarried.
that meant,
70% are unmarried.
hold on. When we looked into what that meant, what did she say? She said that these fathers are seeing their kids on average. How many times a month? Once a month, right? On average?
Did you even
So my
because
position
Lab
was,
makes that claim that it's true? What data was
that
she
is an
even citing?
extremely low bar. My position is you can't quantify how that is positively contributing to the Black. Like you can't qualify
Oh, so
anything.
you can't quantify
And more
it, but you know
importantly,
that
that
sure
is
it's the number one
self-reporting.
problem facing Black Americans.
Stephen,
Oh, okay. That makes some sense.
didn't the guy in the suit yesterday? Didn't he say that self-reports are not? What did he say about self-reports again?
He didn't like them very much.
Or did you say that they're reliable? So if you're not reliable when it comes to
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Just because he says that you can't rely on self-supporting data, I guess that we can.
No, because like you're a hypocrite. But I'm telling you that self-reports, if you're predicating your argument on self-reports, you don't see the problem with that objectively?
There's ways to do self-report data that is valid. So, for example, if you're able to like randomize it, like the participants.
It wasn't randomized. Whoever's talking, did you look at the study?
Well, no, I haven't been.
Okay, then I'm not having this conversation with you.
Okay, but Anna, if you're gonna say self-reports don't count, I'm giving you an example
average,
when it gets count. Okay, chill.
These fathers are seeing their children once a month. Like, are you guys serious?
What's? Can you cite me? Can you send or like cite the study?
No, you can do your own homework. I'm not going to do your homework for you. You think that it's a stereotype and a myth? Go ahead and prove it.
Goodness me.
You sound delusional.
You just made the claim that black fathers
like the white women, you're delusional.
Once a month.
Delusional.
If you're making the claim that black fathers are only seeing their children
I
once a
didn't
month,
make
I'm
the
asking
claim.
you
The
what
study made the claim.
is. Okay, what's the study then?
Google it. Look it up. I'm not your mother.
Okay,
do your
so you're just
homework.
gonna bring up
You're
the
the one
study
who
and then
thinks it's a stereotype, right?
What?
You think it's a stereotype based on what?
Hey, you guys are referencing a study that hasn't even been sent yet. Send the fucking study so that we can know what you're referencing.
Oh my God, why do y'all not gonna read it?
Pixie, we have to do our own homework.
What's the point?
Yes, do your own homework.
What's the point?
Do your own homework. Absolutely. Do it yourself.
That's true. I'm on Annalisa's side. I do. If you want.
Guys, I think the sky is like purple with aliens in it. What? You don't believe me? Do your
Okay,
own
whoa!
homework.
Let's everybody. We're gonna all.
So just do your own homework.
Let's all. Wait. Let's all bring it in. Okay. Everybody calm down. Okay.
Hold on, Steven. Wait, let me ask you a question. So I come in to the room and she's talking about, well, I don't understand. Aren't black people the most engaged in the church? That was also my point. So I like the way that you kind of like, I like what you did. But why is she also arguing that, okay, so they have all of these sort of social structures, right? They have these apparatus. They have the church. They have, they have family. But again, she's also arguing that, oh, then I don't understand why is the black community in the state that it's in? But then she's also saying that absenteeism is a stereotype and a myth. Do you understand how?
To be clear,
when I asked you for the study, you said, "Oh, go find it yourself."
Yeah,
How about I tell you that I have 2 studies that say the opposite, and I tell you to go Google it?
You think I'm going to do anything that you asked me to do? I already know. I've already read the studies. Like, stop. I don't care what you have to say.
Then I'd be super.
You're delusional.
So why don't you just?
You are delusional. I'm not going to have this argument with a white lady talking about absenteeism is a myth and a stereotype. You're delusional.
I'm not white.
She's not white.
What are you?
I'm Hispanic.
What is that? That's not a race. What is that?
I'm Mexican. Oh, God.
What is that?
I'm Mexican American. If you think that people treat me like that I'm white, then you're wrong.
Mexican.
Huh?
What race is Mexican?
I said I'm Mexican, or that's an ethnicity. But I'm saying that I'm not white.
How are you not white is my point.
Do you honestly
think
that
if she's
Hispanic
Mexican,
people navigate the world like white people?
Well,
I'm sorry. Are Mexicans? Are you guys out of your minds? Are they black?
No, but they're not.
I never said that they're black. I'm saying that they're not white. We're not white.
Right. Okay. And so.
No. Can you agree she's not white, Annalisa? Annalisa, don't skip over your stupidity. She's not white. Admit it.
And quit bringing up my race as an excuse to not engage with my point.
First of all, who's talking about stupidity? Shut the hell up. No one's even having this conversation with you.
You clearly are, because I'm in the fucking room. You are now.
Don't sit here and try to tell me that Mexican.
You are directly talking to me.
You guys are pop. You guys are friggin' delusional. That's why you can't have conversations with friggin' with white ladies.
Angry black woman stereotype.
Hold on.
I am angry, and you're Karen. You're a delusional Karen.
Wait, why did she leave? Wait, no, that lady wasn't
Karen.
white either. Okay, hold on. You're seeing white people everywhere, and there are not as many in here as I think. I'm like me and Pixie are the only white people.
Right, because Mexican is black.
No one said Mexican is black, but you hold on. Wait. Nobody said that Mexican was black, but you called her white, and she's not white.
So what? I'm sorry. Like, what is Mexican?
I'm just saying she's not white.
What is Mexican?
Mexican is okay. Stop.
asking you
Let me answer. Mexican is a nationality in the United States.
That's right. That is right. That is right.
Yeah.
And in nationalities, you could be black, you could be white, you could be biracial. Okay, so which one is she?
Okay, let's apply a little bit of common sense here. If somebody says they're Mexican, what do you think they look like? If you had to guess.
I would think that they look European.
What does European mean to you? Does that include like?
European looks white to me.
Okay,
What do
have you
mean?
ever been to Mexico or seen a single person in your life that describes themselves as Mexican?
Yeah.
And they're all
Yes,
white?
I absolutely have.
Is that how white Canada
guess
is?
what?
Or
Guess what? They're not black.
no,
There's no confusing that.
who are you talking to here?
Whoever's talking to me, I'm talking to you, Steven.
Okay, hold on. Well, you're not talking to me because I never said that Mexicans were black. I don't think anybody in here said Mexicans were black. So I don't know why you've said 4 times now Mexican isn't black. Nobody said Mexican is black.
You're trying to argue that they're what? I think what are they?
Okay, let me catch you up. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm catching up to your own statements. You said, "Are you white or aren't you white?" Or you called her white. She's not white. She's from Mexico.
Right.
She's Hispanic.
Right, and that's a nationality. I'm not asking about your nationality. I'm asking about your race.
Okay, I don't know if it's some blend of mestizo or castizo or how the fucking Mexican shit. I don't know if she's done a fucking 23andMe on it, but she's not white, right?
Okay, so you don't know then. She doesn't know then.
I do know. I know what she looks
place.
like, and I know she's not white. I can look at her. She's not white.
Okay.
So unless
I'm
I
pretty
give you
sure
my
I've seen her.
23andMe
I'm pretty
results,
sure I've seen her too. I'm pretty sure I've seen her too. I'm pretty
I
sure
didn't realize that you're the expert on what my ethnicity and race is. Oh, okay, cool.
Wait, hold on. We've made a justification. I just want to see. Hold on. I'm super curious now. I'm sending you a YouTube video. Would you describe this person as white?
He's gonna say yes.
Like the same skin tone.
Okay, here you go. Tell me if this person is white to you. I'm curious if you would say this person is white.
Skin check me.
Are you putting it on the screen? Where am I looking?
Sure, I sent you a YouTube link. You can look at my video.
Can you put it so I can just see it on
It's
on
on
the
my
screen now?
Oh, sure. It's on my stream. Yeah, there she is.
On your stream, I can't.
It's
I can only
it's
see.
catching up. It's catching up. Do you see it yet? Are you okay? How far behind is the stream for you?
All I see is the people who are in this call.
Oh, I can't show it in here. You have to either look at my stream or you've got to look at the link that I sent you. Are you doing that or is this?
What's she doing? I think she...
Yeah, no, I saw. I'm sorry, I can see it.
Okay. Is this a white person to you?
I mean, you guys look like you could be cousins. I don't know.
Okay, Annalicia, I hate to inform you of this, but you are also a white person then. Do you understand that?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, all right, we're all white. I'm glad. We're all white in here then. Okay, that's great.
We can go
I'm
with
glad
that.
we're on the same page, except for maybe
Wait, listen,
Fenty.
if absenteeism is a stereotype and a myth, listen, I'll live in your delusion. We could do that all day. That's fine.
The reason why you even brought up my race is because why exactly? I don't understand how that's even relevant to any of my arguments. Why did you bring up my race in the first place, Annalicia?
I guess it's relevant because you being white, having absolutely no experience, no true insight in the field, probably has to do with it. Yeah, probably.
We just established she wasn't white.
No, you guys established
Yeah.
that.
Anna, you can look at a mirror and then look at her. Like, you guys are...
I come in here and she's having a conversation with Fenty talking about, oh, well, black people are the most involved in the church. So what's the problem? I don't understand why, da-da-da. But then last week she's talking about, oh, no, absenteeism isn't really the problem that you guys think it is.
If I were a little bit darker and I said the same thing, what would you say then? How about...
I'm not speaking to you.
You're in a Discord room with everybody. Of course you're speaking to all of us. What do you mean?
No, let me see if I can this. What do you mean?
Let me try and relay this. Okay, so because you don't have the life experience of being a black person, you're not gonna understand what Annalicia is saying.
Okay,
so
no offense. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay? No offense, But Fenty or Anna, neither of you can really speak to the Black African American experience in the United States. But both of you.
I just told you why, and you said, "Oh yeah, I agree with you that it's a international thing." We know what. We know what
hold on. For the sake of that, no. For the sake of that conversation and talking about like global blackness, there is an international conversation to be had there. But the plight of the African American in the United States is not an international phenomenon. That is very unique to the United States. It's not just.
Oh, I'm sorry. Unique in terms of what?
Unique in terms of if you have no experience being in the United States, it's going to be hard for you.
What is unique about the African American experience compared to that of the Caribbean and other northern countries?
That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't know just because you have.
No. He knows. Actually, he can ask. Let him
What do they have in
answer.
common?
I think he doesn't. I think he doesn't.
Qualified.
I think because he's.
I think for most people, if you've never experienced racism, you've never had somebody call you a they would say that you don't really know
That's
the Black
delusional.
experience in America.
That's absurd. I know people who are Black and
No,
white
don't tell me what's
who have
absurd.
never been called nigga. So we're not going to qualify niggadom or being Black, whether it be because you've been called nigga. That's ridiculous.
It's something that you clearly can't understand. You don't know what that experience
I'm waiting
is.
for Stephen to answer my question.
You want the white guy to answer you, right? That's what you want. Yeah, go ahead. You talk to Destiny.
What's unique about it?
Harry's fun.
I think that
White boy, you tell us.
Right?
I don't have to talk.
What's unique about it?
Stephen, please tell us.
The history of the descendants of Black slaves in the United States, okay, and the entire culture that they were brought up in and created, and the relationship they have to the United States and the rest of the world is unique to the African American in the United States versus Black people around the world at large.
Right, and how do you know that? How do you know that? Have you been to the Caribbean? Like, how
is it because
you're white?
Like, how do you? I'm curious to know how you would know.
Okay, first of
that.
all, hold on. Which Caribbean countries have you been to?
Trinidad.
Okay, so I've been to, I think in Mexico, parts of it count as the Caribbean, right? Like, does Cancun count?
No, it does not.
Does not. Okay, what about
Cancun's Mexico.
what's the little island? What about Aruba? Does that count to you?
As the Caribbean?
Yeah.
I was born and raised in
So
Puerto
do you think
Rico.
that?
I could
Wait,
tell
did you?
it's
Wait!
different.
Stop! Did you say no?
I did.
Okay, what counts as the Caribbean to you?
Oh, okay. Well, this is your.
No,
She
hold on.
doesn't
You're
fucking
just
know.
arguing. No, stop. You're arguing for the sake of argument. Okay, chill.
Yeah,
okay?
Aruba is absolutely a Caribbean
Of
island.
course it
Okay,
is.
it's a Caribbean island. Fine. So you went there. What did you see?
Actually,
Hold on,
technically Mexico
wait.
is part of it too.
Hold on, I just want to.
You brought it up.
Okay,
You
I
said
will
it.
bring it up. Let me
Hold
argue.
on.
Shut the fuck up for a second. Jesus fucking Christ, okay? I'll argue this if you want, but before we go down this road, I want you to make the profoundly stupid statement that you think that the African American experience in the United States, that's not a unique Black experience. It's more or less similar across the entire world. First, I want you to make that positive statement, and then I'll fight against it. But I need to hear you say it first, so I don't list a whole bunch of shit for why you're obviously wrong, and you go, oh, well, I never said that, Stephen. So I want to hear you say that first. You think that the African American, the Black African American experience in the United States, that's like a pretty universal Black experience around the world. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
No, I want to hear Annalise. Did you say yes?
Sorry. I believe that the Black diaspora, yes, is absolutely shares universalities. Sorry.
That wasn't the question.
That wasn't my question at all. Who's?
Right, but that's my response.
Say it again.
That's
But then
That's the thing about
okay.
Americans. Americans really like to hyper-focus on America. Yeah, shocker.
Is it
but
hyper-focused, or do you only have fucking
diaspora-
talking points that you
diaspora
memorize?
Involved any place where
Which
Black
one is
people
it?
have been displaced.
Bro, I agree.
That's the way it works.
Okay,
What are you
well, I
talking
was
about?
born.
And more importantly, before my people came to Canada, they were in the States. So, like that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys, like, are you guys serious?
Wait, okay.
What the?
I just want to.
I'm checking that out before I get too
clear.
triggered. Okay, Jesus
Wait.
Christ.
I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. You could consider that part of the Caribbean. I can tell you for a fact that like skin color, or race, or the way that you treat that is very differently in Puerto Rico than it is in the United States. So please do not tell me that they're the same experience in both places, because I know for a fact that they're not.
So it's different. So you're saying that darker skinned Puerto Ricans are treated the same as lighter skinned Puerto Ricans?
That is not at all the question. Oh my God.
No, that is my question.
Okay.
Because if you think that that doesn't have anything to do with colonization, which has to do with slavery, which has to do with imperialism, which has to do with all of these things, because they're all interrelated, then you
and then
you have
capitalism,
to make
right?
that argument.
I first of all, I didn't say that. But second of all, what you guys consider black in the United States isn't even considered black in Puerto Rico. People don't like the way that people conceptualize race is like so radically different in Puerto Rico than it is in the United States. Like the way that people are able to classify one another is basically like as gringo or not gringo, right? Like that's a major defining point. That's not to say race is non-existent in Puerto Rico, but it is definitely not treated the same way it is in the United States.
It is its own. The only difference is the way that it's defined and the way that that's the only real difference. All the underpinnings, all of the racism, it all is still exists. The way that it's defined and the lens that's used to see it is different. And
What does that mean? There's racism in every fucking country.
That probably has more to do with culture, but that's fine. But at the end of the day, which country was it? Was it Cuba or was it? I think
So as
it
a
was
Canadian,
Cuba.
you're gonna speak on the
It was
Where the
Cuba
fuck are we
or
veering
the
off
Dominican
to?
Republic. I think it was Cuba. Where the government actually encouraged the whitewashing of Cubans. Does anybody remember what it's called?
No.
Gusano.
Isn't it?
Oh, no.
No. I'm trying to think. It was actually legislated. It was literally
Is it? I'm reading this word. I've never heard this before. But is it Blanqueamiento?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that's another example of sort of like that secular element of things that affected people who are a part of the diaspora. And like to think that the Black American experience is exclusive to Americans, it is only that's only something truly that an American could think of, to be honest.
Or it would be
So
anybody
makes
that's
sense.
had a Black American experience would tell you that that's obviously true. But you don't sound like
Right,
you
but
have
anybody
that.
who's had a Black American experience, who's traveled and met other people, would also know that that's not true.
Fuck, who is peeing?
It's fucking you. Lycan just got kicked and lost his perms. Good luck. What the fuck?
Wait, maybe he was pouring a drink. He's extra
why would
like
he?
that.
He's fucking. Okay. Good luck, Lycan. Ask somebody back for him. Here's a
I
question.
don't
Here's a
understand
question.
what that statement means.
Here's a Anna. Do you think that like Black immigrants in the United States, like somebody coming from Nigeria or Kenya, is going to have the same experience as an African American in the United States?
She's muted.
Yes or no?
She's muted.
Anna, Alicia, come back to us.
Sorry, 1 second. What's the question?
Do you think that a Black immigrant from Africa that comes to the United States is going to have the same experience as an African American descendant of slaves from the United States? Do you think they're going to have the same or similar experience in the U.S.?
It'll be similar, wouldn't be the same. That's not the argument though.
No, hold on. Stop saying that's not the argument. I'm trying to figure. Okay, my bad. Oh my God, I thought I was going to get to talk for more than 2 fucking seconds before you ramble for another 12 minutes. My bad.
Probably not.
Okay,
No.
okay, gotcha. Okay.
Can I ask you a question? What does it mean when you say that only Black Americans would think that their experience is different than everyone else's? Like, who else is supposed to think that?
It's not just a Black American thing. It's just Americans in general feel like they're so segregated from the rest of the world.
Do you think if maybe Black Americans are telling you that their experience is different, that maybe you should hear that?
No, it's not. No. Hold on. My argument is not that it's different. My argument is that it is exclusive and that it has only affected the American people in the way that it's affected them. That's my problem. Is that's an American thing to say. It's like no
one is saying that.
This is a special club, and Black Europeans, they have absolutely no claim to it. Canadian Black people have that's my
no
position.
claim to what? Racism in America?
Can I ask a question here?
Racism in America.
Okay, hold on.
It's a global thing. That's what we're trying to say.
Okay, wait. I want to ask this question. Hold on.
Okay,
Fenty,
fine.
how many countries have you been to?
3. Wait, 4. Wait, let me think about it.
Okay. Here's the thing I'm going to put into words, but if people haven't traveled as much, I don't know if this is the case. Okay, this is like my general impression. Okay, that is unique to the Black experience inside the United States. Now, I haven't been everywhere, and I haven't been everywhere in the places I've been, so maybe that's not necessarily the case. Okay, but I noticed that like when I've been to London a couple times. When I go to places in other countries, okay, across Europe or New Zealand, that when I find Black people in these countries, they tend to be like pretty integrated into like the societies that they're in. They tend to be. Now, maybe like there are going to be some cities where this is somewhat of an exception, but like they feel very much like they're part of those local communities. In the United States, an interesting aspect of like African American culture is that even if I seem like an African American person in like the northeast part of the country, if I'm up in New England, or if I go to the southwest part of the country, place in LA, there is kind of like this unifying African American culture that exists almost independently of itself, but is still like very related across all of the United States. That seems to be a relatively unique phenomenon in the U.S. What?
Listen. We're not saying that it's exactly the same. Of course, that racism is going to manifest itself differently in different institutions, okay? You guys had slavery, which is very different to how racism manifests in imperialism, okay? So, yes, it's a unique experience, but racism in itself, the same sort of, the virus that is bred into our institutions is not unique. Yes,
I don't know what you're responding to. I'm just saying that the African American experience in the United States is a relatively unique one. That's why like all of the culture that was created by African Americans in the United States like resonates throughout the world in a unique way that it did in other countries. The African American experience in the United States and the way that history in the United States is going to be a lot different than Black people across the continent of Africa or Black people that exist in other European countries.
We're not saying that it's not unique. Like
you literally are saying that it's not unique.
No,
yes.
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Then we agree. Then I don't know what you're. Then we agree on everything. Then we agree. It's unique. It is. Then boom. Then we agree.
But the thing is that you're using that point to say that we have no validity.
I'm saying you have to be really careful when you speak
of... It's to say that you aren't the authority on it, because it seems like anytime somebody questions you or challenges you guys, you're dismissive. Like Annalisa saying, I'm not listening to you because you're white, even though she's fucking Mexican. Don't care.
Annalisa, first of all,
it was nice
my position is not my. I don't know how many people realize that a lot of American slaves migrated to Canada. So like again, like that's sort of it's weird to me when you try to like you try to make these like really rigid differentiations when in reality. Most of my family came from, before they got to Canada, they were in the States, like deep in the States. They were slaves in the States. Does that mean like, so now can I qualify the things that I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm an authority on anything. Don't
are. When you're telling another person in the conversation that you don't want to hear from them, you are doing that.
I'm an authority. If you think that, that's your problem. I don't think
No, that's where you are putting yourself at, but you don't want to own up to it. So you want to shame another person at the fucking conversation. That's what you're doing.
I can't hear you. I didn't hear what you said, so.
I'm just saying weird to me that you think that my skin color has any relevance to these arguments whatsoever. So if I were just like a little bit more tan,
who said anything about your skin color?
What is even the point of this?
When you're calling
me
white,
did I say anything about your skin color?
Yes.
Yeah, you white.
Yes. That's literally why I hopped in here.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Do you guys think that being white is it's just a skin color? It has nothing to do with facial features. It has nothing to do with phenotype. It has nothing to do with hair texture.
I think being white does not fucking matter to you unless they disagree, because you can't fucking wait to hear from Steven.
True.
But if I was having a conversation with Steven, I ask him a question, I want him to answer it.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. He's the only person that can. Go ahead, Steven.
We're trying to talk to Steven.
All right, this conversation is going nowhere. Americans.
Yeah.
So, if you guys really think that unless you are from America, you can have conversations about America because it's so used to America, it's so unique to America.
This is the thing.
My thing is, why would you? That means that you shouldn't be able to talk about Russia. You shouldn't be able to talk about
hold on.
Poland.
No. I'm just saying. Wait. I'm just saying. Hold on.
Anything outside of your national.
oh my God, stop, chill, hold on,
Not
Anna,
discuss.
chill. What I'm saying is that the problem, if you want to have conversations about these things in general, that's fine. But if you want to start polling like credentials for race, a white kid that's growing up in the ghetto in the United States is going to know more about the black experience in the United States than you will. Because if you aren't a black person living in the United States,
oh my
okay,
God, that's
well, here,
absurd.
this is what I will tell you. If you ask any African American in the United States, okay, not a second generation Nigerian immigrant, if you ask an African American in the United States what you and Alicia, somebody that sounds like they're in middle or upper middle class or whatever the Canada, well educated or whatever, they're going to say you have no fucking idea about any part of the black experience in the United States. That's what every single African American will tell you that. You might find some people that are like first or second generation immigrants that'll agree with you, but every single person that's grown up in places like in Baltimore or LA or like places in all of these cities that grow up in projects or that have part of like the African American experience in the United States, they're going to completely disagree with you. And they're going to tell you know about as much as a wealthy white person living in a San Francisco suburb. That's what they're going to tell you.
The problem that I have, right? No, I understand. I disagree. And I'll always disagree because you don't know my background. You don't know what area I grew up in. You don't know anything about my background. You're assuming that now, because yes, I've transcended some of the poverty, some of the plight. I've transcended, of course, through education, obviously. But you're assuming that you know my history, and you're assuming that my history.
I do. I will assume that. Yes, I am good.
That my history wouldn't resonate with somebody in a ghetto in Baltimore, and you don't know that.
I know. I can know. Hold on. I can know part of your history because there's no way that somebody with those experiences would make statements as utterly clueless as you have. I, as a white person, know not to make a statement that fucking stupid, and you don't. So you obviously came from different areas.
White person.
You obviously came from different areas.
It's not about being stupid or smart. It's about you're white. So
no, it's about listening to it's about listening to other black people. It's about listening to other black people that didn't graduate with sociology degrees to talk about like systemic injustices for Canada. Okay, they're totally different lived experiences. And if you ask any African American in the United States, they'll tell you the same thing.
Canadian pedagogy, how much do you think overlaps with American history? How much do you think?
It's people don't live their history.
No. Because if you're going to talk about my degrees, if you're going to talk about my education, you're going to talk about pedagogy. You have to know at least that there is a lot of overlap in the Canadian pedagogy with respect to American history, especially if you know what I took, which is a black American history. So, and again,
bro, taking black American history doesn't mean living in the projects. Are you serious?
I'm not gonna. All right, we can't have these conversations. Like this is not a competition of like, who's more black.
This has nothing to do with whether or not you can talk about these issues.
Like statistics, and you can push back, and that's fine. But you're not going to use my nationality or my academic credentials to invalidate anything that I'm saying. That's ridiculous.
Alicia, you're doing it to if you're doing it to other people.
The only reason it comes up is to throw it back in your face when you fucking do it to other people.
Yeah,
nobody cares.
That's the only reason it's coming up is because you're trying to invalidate other people's experiences. You're trying to.
The framework is the numbers that have been put on the table, and then you move forward and have the conversation.
That wasn't the
numbers.
Oh my God.
Then I'm gone. That's fine.
Okay, you weren't doing that. You tried to throw somebody's race in their face. Okay, if you're gonna do that, then of course we're gonna pull credentials.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, it's not about it wasn't about putting her race in her face.
Yes,
it was about the fact that if you think that I have no experience, or if you think that I can't identify or resonate with any of the places,
I don't know why you're so
about Karen down there.
Exactly. So you are placing yourself as an authority here over her. You don't want to have a conversation. You want to fucking lecture to people.
Shut up! No one's talking to you.
You are right the fuck now.
Stephen and Fenty.
No, you're talking to me and only me.
Like I said, whatever you want to apply to me, it's going to apply to you. It's going to apply to everybody on this panel. So contend with the numbers that I put on the table, or don't grapple with them if you can't. If you can only relegate the conversation to you can't have this conversation because you're Canadian. All right, that's cool. Have the conversation then.
Anna,
go ahead.
No one's throwing Canada in your face till you throw white in another person.
Listen, I'm not worried about Canada. We're good over here. Don't worry about Canada. What I'm saying is stop calling numbers that I put on the table, or shut the hell up.
Anna, do you understand the only reason this has come up was because you tried to call out Erin on her race? Do you understand that?
What did you say?
The only reason why this came up was because you tried to throw race in Straight Araid's face. You asked her, "Are you white? You white woman?" That's the only reason this came up.
What did Erin say prior to that?
It was about black absenteeism.
It doesn't matter. No, doesn't matter.
Specifically,
Is there an appropriate time to say that?
Well, I mean, it could matter if Aaron.
Listen, I understand that Karen needs a defense attorney. You can calm down. I'm not having this conversation with you.
So now white slurs.
Yes. Karen is a white slur.
You said that nobody cares what she thinks because she was a white woman. That's what you said. That's what turned this into.
What did she say prior to
She was
that,
talking.
Steven?
She said that black absenteeism was a myth.
No, that's what she said. Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape, please.
I just want to know what could I ever say that it would be relevant to bring up my race? I don't understand. Can you explain to me?
No, I won't.
Oh, okay, got it.
Giga Chad.
I'm just telling you.
Giga Chad.
If I just go up to North Texas, I've been called a wetback before.
Oh, what's your point?
You think that I'm white?
It sounds like
because
she
you've
might
been
have
called a
experienced
wetback,
more
you're
racism
somehow
than you.
not
That's actually
white?
true.
Okay.
So how are we doing?
I know where all of this stems from the fact that, Fenty, you came in saying that you think that there is kind of like a universal black experience that transcends nations, right?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they're the same, but I'm saying is if we can understand that, we can use the knowledge of all systemic to see what is systemic and what is culture. Okay? Right.
So that's why it's like, are you from you said you're Nigerian and you live in the UK, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah.
And Anna is Canadian. And both of you
comparing our experiences can give us more insight of how systemic racism really works and what is systemic and what we can actually do as a people to be better.
Right. You feel like you have some authority to speak on issues related to specifically Black Americans because you're Black yourself. You're not a Black American, but you're part Black, right?
I've never lived the Black American experience, but I know a lot about how systemic racism works in my life and how it's differing because I study like the carceral state and systemic racism in America. So applying what I learned from school, right, to what is different in my life, I'm just making inferences to Steven to see where there's an alignment of what we can do about culture and what we can do about the system itself. And I'm feeling.
Santi, can I ask you a question?
Yes, my baby.
To what degree? Because it's really interesting when we talk about authority. But to what degree would you think? Because I know in Canadian culture, especially like urban Canadian culture, Black Canadian culture, it is saturated with American culture.
What's Canadian culture?
It's not about authority. It's more about listening to one another.
I would venture to say Canadian culture is American culture. So
what is that?
You have a problem
to what
with
degree do you believe that American culture overall permeates into other nations and permeates into other cultures?
No, girl. The thing is that you're stuck on the whole authority thing. I'm just trying to have a conversation.
No. I'm not worried about authority. I just want to know, what do you think about American culture and the fact or the idea that it's permeated across nations, across cultures, because Canadian culture is American culture. I don't like.
But can you just say what that culture is?
Between Canadian culture and American culture.
What is American culture to you?
Through all nations, and I want to know from Fenty specifically. Do you feel that American culture?
I just want to know what American culture is to you
on European culture? And specifically in urbanized areas.
I feel like I've talked to too many Black people, and now listening to some Black people makes me want to kill myself. If I was a Black person, I think I would kill myself listening to this conversation. I can't talk to anybody here because everybody's screaming, but so here's a question that I would have. Are there places in Canada that are comparable to the worst parts of Detroit or Chicago or Baltimore or DC or the areas around LA? Or even rough parts of Miami? Is there any part of Canada? That's even remotely like that? Are the worst parts of Vancouver or Toronto comparable to the medium bad parts of DC? I could be wrong, but the experience sounds completely and totally unrelated to me. It doesn't sound even remotely close. Things related to gang or drug culture in Canada compared to the United States doesn't even sound remotely close. But I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but
in the parallels, we can see what is systemic and what isn't, and how we can empower ourselves to overcome it. That is.
So in terms of culture, so when in terms,
like I said, bro, I'm the whitest person. Well, now I actually am the only white person in this conversation, and I feel like I'm listening to two white people talk about African Americans. That's what it feels like right now. It feels like I'm listening to two white people. You've got somebody that went to school in the UK and studied black people, and then you've got what sounds like a sociology graduate in Canada talking about black people in the United States. And it's, I don't know, but I might just be fucking mind exploded right now. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know, man.
I think that American culture is sort of unique and exclusive to the United States of America. Do you think that there's no overlap? Do you think that there are no parallels? Do you think that there's no permeation into Canada and into other nations or countries that are in the northern part of the world?
Yeah. So listen, all black culture affects black culture because we are seen as a monolith in the international imagination. Is that, do you understand what I'm saying? So everything that any black person does affects all of us. And it affects our institutional and structural racism. So when Black American music affects all of us, okay? What happens in Africa affects all of us.
That's what I'm skeptical about. Like, I don't understand like what a poor Black American living in Detroit has in common with somebody like a Black a Black person living in Nigeria.
Let me explain to you. I'm talking specifically.
She's speaking more conceptually.
About what the culture we create as a whole, the culture that we export to the world, okay? That affects all of us. What we produce and what is seen, we are seen as a monolith more than any other race. Can we agree on that? Like, Hispanics don't get put in a box.
I agree that you're viewed that way, but all of these demographics are extremely diverse and have their own unique and rich history. I know, but we're talking about the perspective
of groypers, right? If we listen.
Were we doing that?
No, this is what I'm doing. Okay,
this is the first time I heard Groyper brought up.
Okay, well, it's been brought up. It's been brought up more. So let me hone you in. Annalise was talking about, does it affect all of us? It affects us in the imagination of the black monolith that exists, okay? And this is the reason why a lot of white nationalisms will look at black people as a whole and say that the race realism argument of like there's just something particularly wrong. Like name one like prosperous African state, for instance. Look at any country, the people that are generally in the underclass are people who are affected by racial economic lines. What's going on when you have identity politics in the swing of things? People ultimately will go, oh, maybe it's just because they're black. But if we can build the connection of the international black problems, we can see that it's really not that case, and that there is systemic issues, and then there is a culture issue we can fix if we can overcome.
Then this might be
a systemic global issue.
Yes, it is in the international institutions.
Wait, so you don't even realize that systemic racism is a universal problem?
Pandemic, child. Get into it.
There's racism everywhere, but it sounds, when you say systemic, like on a global scale, that would imply that like systems within every country are working together.
To the extent that colonization has to the extent that colonization has sort of wherever colonization has affected, there is going to be institutionalization of racism.
Okay, so the black displacement laws that have like affected black people to be in like certain areas and like that is economic to deprive them. These things have happened on an international stage. So this is the reason why the Caribbean is not doing too good. This is why the African states are not doing too good, because we have institutions like the World Bank, like the United Nations, that have systemic racism built into them, so that black states do not prosper. These are the states. It's not just a domestic issue. It is an international one that is within all our Western institutions.
I agree, but I don't think that the world is as globalized as you think it is when you're talking about these specific structures. Well, let me explain why I disagree. Yeah. Is because if you want to make the argument that all of these developing and developed nations are systemically racist, I would agree, but the way that they present and manifest is going to be completely different and unique to each region and geographic location.
All unique. No one said that they're the same. They're all.
I would argue that the things that they have in common are are sort of intrinsically tied to your economic mobility and your social and economic positioning.
Oh my God, y'all are misunderstanding everything. No,
I don't want to be here anymore.
That's no.
Okay.
Based.
I think that, okay, I'll just say this. It's like my problem with Fenty, you came in saying that there is this like Black community. And I realize right now that community kind of just like the current politically correct way of saying like people. But I think it's also important to look at like what the term community is obscuring.
I never said there's a Black community. I said that the Black community is an imagination that exists within Black people, but what there really is a monolith that exists in the imagination of people who are not Black.
Yeah, okay, then we agree. And do you think this is a problem?
I think it's a problem just because there is a general economic disparity that is a global thing that is with Black people, and like that is the reason why people are going to race realism. Do you understand that? So if we can get our money up, then we will destroy this narrative. So you see Asian people, okay? 10 years ago, okay? They did not have like this. I just don't want to see Black people disrespected anymore. I don't want to see my people disrespected, okay? See, Asian people like 10 years ago, they were more disrespected. There was more racism hounded them. But when they got their economic prosperity up, people you will not really hear you won't hear racism towards Asian people anymore. We're all on K-pop. We're all on K-pop. Right?
Well, I feel like that's an argument to favor because like even the term Asian American, that's just a census category, and like that alone encompasses just like a widely fragmented group of people today. Like that's going to include Asian American will include more than 20 million people, 40 over 40 I think different ethnic backgrounds alone, probably over 100 languages. And I think the majority of like Asians in the U.S. Are like first generation immigrants, if I'm not wrong. And so like when you factor in like just a staggering degree of like ethnic and linguistic diversity, most people, like most Asian Americans, like if you ask them to identify themselves, they're not going to say they're Asian American or even like Asian American Pacific Islander. They're going to identify by their ethnicity. This is what Hispanic people do. Like Asian people would say, I'm Asian American, yes, but like I'm
That
Vietnamese.
is one thing that's very specific to Black people in America is like y'all don't really have that national root. So yeah, for sure.
Well, hold on, careful. That's only true of African Americans in the United States.
That's what I just said, Steven. You're not listening to me.
You said Black people.
No, I didn't. I said Black Americans.
You said Black Americans, okay? But Black Americans can include people that are immigrants from African countries.
Okay, well, I meant what you meant.
Okay, just making sure.
I was just trying to say that when you said like, look at Asian people, like you were treating them like a monolith in the way that you're asking that people don't treat Black people.
Oh my God, y'all are so into misrepresenting me. I said, okay, 10 years.
That's what they do.
Go back to 10 years ago. We used to do that, okay? People used to do that. People used to be very racist to Asian people because they were not prosperly. Yes, but now it's not so much. Now people respect them a lot more. Now we got the K-pop, we got everything. Child.
Well, there was arguably just a spike in like hate crimes against Asian Americans specifically.
I wouldn't know about that.
In the United States. That's what I'm
imagination. I'm talking about the global imagination of the races. Okay.
Okay, but at what point do we leave the realm of like idealism and do we start contending with like the practical reality on the ground of how these communities actually manifest themselves?
Whenever you want to, child. But that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, well, are we like pretending that groups are not separated in North America? Is that like what we're doing?
Hold on. That statement didn't mean anything.
No, because it sounds like you're saying, well, you know, in the imagination of it, or the imagination of
the imagination part is saying that like people imagine that all Black.
No, I know what it means. I know what it means, but it's almost like when you say imagination, it kind of sucks out any validity to any differences in culture or socialization or community or you know, community functioning and stuff like that. Like, are we like people when they come to North America, they are split up and divided into groups based on these things? Is that like?
I don't know what your question is. Like, people will view Asian Americans as being the same thing, but different people are going to have way different backgrounds, right? Like, Vietnamese people that married a white husband and came over after the Vietnam War are going to have a way different experience in the United States than some family that immigrated from Beijing 20 years ago so their children could go to, like, fucking Harvard, right? These are, even though they're both quote unquote Asian Americans, they have vastly different backgrounds.
Like, I looked it up, and like, according to Pew, from 1970 to 2016, the gap in the standard of living between Asians near the top and the bottom of the income ladder nearly doubled, and the distribution of income among Asians transformed from being one of the most equal to being the most unequal among America's major racial and ethnic groups today. So, like, for example, like today, a rich Asian household is over 168 times more wealthy than a poor Asian household. So, like, the point is that no matter how well-intentioned these concepts or imaginations of, like, a concept like an Asian American community, they have almost, like, no material reality. You're talking about, like, because we're talking about a category that includes undocumented immigrants. It could include
Asians are respected because they are imagined to be prosperous.
No, hold on.
No,
that is wait.
Where does black disrespect come from?
Wait. Hold on, just real quick. That statement was just not true. Okay, somebody's gonna treat like a very, no offense, but a very white-sounding Asian American male in San Francisco with like glasses is gonna be treated way differently than like a Vietnamese woman that runs a nail shop in Alabama, right? Just because they're Asian doesn't mean they get the same treatment. There are way different types of Asian people across the United States.
What affects implicit racism more? Like, what we perceive the block as, this is what it is.
But we're just talking about commonalities between these groups of people.
The reason that systemic racism exists everywhere is because the overall imagination of black people is linked to poverty. And we have to fix that. That's what my point is. The Asians have sorted it out. Some of them are prosperous, some of them are not, sure. But the overall imagination is different for them. And that's why they have more respect.
I know, but you're just talking about people, like, this imagination. You're saying, like, this is a conception that's projected onto these communities. And I'm saying that the material reality, like, on the ground, how these communities actually are structured.
It's going to be different on every ground, so.
Yes, exactly. Like, they're not, like, it's just that's a fiction. You know, so I feel like you're trying to propose solutions based off of the imagination, but you're already saying that that doesn't exist. That's just like a stereotype. It's an idealist notion of those things. Like, how are we even supposed to understand what the problems are when you're just referring back to like an abstraction or an imagination of these things? Like you're saying, those are stereotypes.
Thing is that my main thing is that it's not about that. Okay, my main thing is that the issue is that we have to get our economics up, and I just do not want this next 2 years to be all about white privilege. We need to stop talking about what we got to do as a race, and we need to get our money up and look internally at the psychology of how it's affecting us, because that's what every other race has done. Like, the Asians did it; they got their money up, and now it's not an issue.
I mean, yeah, I agree, get money, but like, even I have a problem with you saying that like Asian Americans have gotten their money up. Like, I just told you, there's a ton of income disparity between Asian Americans.
But like, they know what to do.
And it also doesn't make sense because like in the United States, I think some of the highest educated groups are Black Americans. Like, I'm pretty sure Kenyans and Nigerians, I think, are the two biggest like postdoctorate degree holders like in the United States.
Why is that, Destiny? Because they got a strong family that is pushing these kids to do well and prosper.
Yeah, sure, but I'm just saying that like that doesn't seem like it's changed the opinion of Black Americans as being like uneducated.
Yeah, because listen, look at the underclass of America right now. What race is predominantly that? Right,
Wait, can you say that again?
The underclass of each society. Like, who is representing that?
I don't know. Could you answer that for me?
Destiny, do it. He knows.
Who is it Black people?
I don't know. You tell me.
Wait, are you asking who represents like the most violent crime in the United States? Is that what you're asking?
Who's on top? What are you saying?
Committing that? Listen, because of the racial economic disparity, people tend to be the underclass in a lot of developed countries. So what we need to do to overcome that, we need to fix the economic stuff so we can get over the racial systemicism that is keeping them the underclass. Does that make sense?
When you say underclass, are you just talking about like lower class, like poorest people?
No, I'm talking about people who cannot get into employment because they haven't got good education, and they're forced into crime because where they're displaced is full of crime, and there's police that are militarized. Like things are not working in their favor because of the racial economic lines. Does that make sense? Okay.
Sure.
I guess I just don't think that like an overemphasis on like academic concepts like white privilege are what's holding like Black people back from achieving economic parity.
So.
Annalise, yeah, she derails a lot, but
I like we got a lot of places where it's just like, girl, this is not productive, you know? The rest of it. But like, this is the thing. This is why the imagination is the way it is. Okay? And this is why it is the case in everywhere you go. Okay?
I think
we got it. Oh, who's here? Jason. Shin.